Okay, so
Morning.
good morning. How are you this morning?
Okay.
Good. It's just going to be you and me in the video.
Oh, okay.
Jeff came down with a flu yesterday.
Oh.
So severe that he's in bed, or he got up to connect with me a few minutes ago to tell me he wasn't going to make it, but he said if he's up, takes a few steps, he loses his balance and he has trouble breathing, and he thinks he's going to go to the walk-in clinic.
Yeah.
So
there is all sorts of stuff going around.
Oh God!
I think basically they're not even bothering to try to name it because it seems to be overlapped. RSV, flu,
Yeah.
cold.
Just stay away from it all.
Well, I mean, we don't go very to many places. And I mean, even if there's a small store and there's one person in it, I'm masked, so.
Yeah. So are we, and I am just amazed that so many people don't think wearing a mask would be beneficial.
Yeah. I am too.
But you can't control.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try, but I mean, look at Chairman Xi. He's not.
I'm sorry?
Look at Chairman Xi.
Oh, yes.
Things are a little out of control for him, as they should be.
Yeah.
It's I am just constantly amazed at what seems to me the dichotomy between the reality of life in China and the philosophies and spiritual trainings that have come out of that culture.
Yeah. Well, as has happened often when I've traveled, actually the most compact way of explaining this was a trip to Istanbul. And the guide said immediately, he said, "We are really happy to have you here. We may not like your government, but generally speaking, we've liked your people." So, and I think the same is true, in China. That's what I found in my travels there.
Yeah, the people were delightful there.
Yeah.
But delightful. Don't remember his specific title, but the Vice Lama in a picture of him here somewhere on Mount Hua. He was so angry with the government that he was not very pleasant. But it wasn't directed at us, but he was just, he was really angry. And I understand that a few months after we were there, that he actually resigned his post, and I don't know where he went.
Yeah. Well, we on one trip went to the far west. We went out to the Silk Road, and the farther out we got, the more enmity, the more anger at the government and the Han Chinese became. And I suspect that, we were in Uyghur territory, and I expect that people like our guide probably aren't around anymore because he was outspoken, and we know what happens in China.
Yeah, well, that's like our guide in Lhasa, the first trip. We got very close to him, and he, I would suppose that he was part of the underground. I'm not, he never, made it that clear. But the second trip, I tried to find him, and he was gone.
Yeah.
He was gone. He wasn't the only one. Well, now that we've solved the problems of the world,
Do you have this on?
I do indeed. And I have original sound on, so Jeff can hear the ting shaw, and when he looks at this. So you're here for your private lesson.
Yeah. Always, well, it's a pleasure, but I have to be on my best behavior.
No comment. Do you have questions?
No, not questions. I mean, it's a matter of, this has been a bad week for the knee, and therefore for too much standing around the kitchen peeling and chopping. That seems to be the real bugaboo for me right now. What we call museum walking. Just a little bit here, a little bit there, a lot of standing, and it doesn't bother me in the moment, but the next day it gets swollen and stiff. So, and I did see the doctor last week, and the surgeon, and he said, your graph should be he said, as long as it keeps going generally up, he said, you're going to have downs and ups. So this is a down week. And so in answer to your question, I don't have any confusion about what I'm supposed to be doing. The problem is actually executing it.
Yeah. So are you in pain today?
No, not, today is better than yesterday. And in general, it doesn't, I mean, I don't feel anything right now. When I get up, it'll be a little sore, but I'm used to that. It's not anything that would stop me from doing anything anyway. So.
Well, if you feel the need to take a break, do it.
Yeah.
You know, that really,
No, I
aggravate.
won't. I mean, I mean, it is the same at home. If I feel I'm about to hurt myself unnecessarily, I just stop, you know, so.
Me too. My weakness is really my back, not my knee. My knee annoys me, but it and I do the same thing. You know, like yesterday, I was bringing in wood for the fireplace. You know, and I do a couple of trips, and then I sit down and rest for a while, and
Yeah.
and it goes away.
Yeah.
And I go on. So. Um, Well, good. So, one thing I am going to suggest today is that I'm going to ask you to face the camera.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Well, I just thought it would be helpful for you at home.
Yeah.
If you can refer back to yourself. I realize that the way we've been set up, I see Jeff all the time on there, and you're over here,
Right.
and you never get a chance to see yourself.
Yeah, I do not do much in front of the mirror, and I find that it's almost, I watch myself, and there's another barrier between natural flow, because I'm looking, and you know, so I tend not to want to do that.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely correct. I mean, working in front of a mirror has its advantages, you know, just to check what you're really doing.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the interesting thing, is that we think we're doing the right thing, but that's when a video or you know, being in front of a mirror can be helpful, is just checking that.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Yeah. Well, I know, I mean, that's been true of me from the beginning with you. Over imagining what you know, I think I know what I'm seeing, but it's just like the beginning of the form that we're doing. I see you expanding the arms, and you know, and as you pointed out last week, I was way over the center line in doing that, and I thought I was doing what you were doing. Yeah. So
it's it's just the way it is at first. I mean, I went through all of that too.
Yeah.
It's not that I was perfect from the beginning. I'm not perfect now. God knows. So so let's go through our standing and see how that's going.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask you to come over here, and I'll come over here.
Hi, Jeff.
So I'll be here so you can see me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Stepping out. Oops. And just taking a moment to stand and breathe. And be aware of the structure of your body. Endeavoring to release any tension. Letting go. And encouraging the energy to sink through your body. Releasing any stuck energy. Any energy that has become in any way unusable. And allow it to drop down into the earth. Then extending your mind through your body and feeling the flows. And then going into our 8 gates, bending and extending, and continuing to move. Try not to allow any pauses to develop. And then going right into Kun, Earth. Twisting in, twisting out. Going to Sum, Okan, David. And then up to Lee Fiber. And now Sun. Wind or wood. Things that penetrate. And up to Shun, Thunder. Feel the release as you extend and lengthen out. And good mountain. Dewy Lake, Cloud Valley. And closing. Well, how did you feel about that?
There were a few inconsistencies. It's interesting in my practice, and then this morning, I almost get confused whether I'm doing God's or, because the energy movement, and keeping on the side channels, which was one of the problems this morning. I was going too close, I felt.
Yep. Yes, you were. Good. Well, that's good that you were aware of that.
Yeah.
Because you can't make changes if you're not aware of what you're doing. So that was good. It seemed to me that perhaps the major thing that you probably should work on is the connection of the elbows to the spine.
Yeah.
Because it still feels like most of the movement is coming from the elbows to the fingertips. Okay. And that's part of the problem, I think, with maintaining the connection with the side channels. Because if you're just moving from the elbows, then you tend to come in like this. Whereas if you actually get the elbow to move the scapula, then you can have a very different movement and keep that movement along the line of the side channel.
Yeah. Well, it's not defending what I'm doing, but I
Oh,
think
no.
what's happening is that I, as you remember, didn't move my elbows much at all a couple of weeks ago. So I've been concentrating on getting those, and yes, I haven't been connecting with the scapula.
Yeah.
So.
Just simply, doing this exercise, this gives you the opportunity. You can work on everything here. I mean, you're bending in, you're extending out, you're twisting in, twisting out. Ideally, you're lengthening in and lengthening out. And doing it all with the connection from the elbows to the scapula. So that, I think, is a simple exercise that really can be very helpful in making that connection. If that works for you, then maybe it doesn't work for everyone. But
yeah, that, I mean, yes, that eliminates other factors. Yeah, so
absolutely. And then it's a little easier to deal with the other factors.
Yeah.
When you can feel that movement. And these 8 positions are not all easy. Some of them are easier than others, but admittedly, this is causes us to develop new relationships in the movement.
Yeah. I know with the last one, by the time I'm sure my elbows are moving, it's time to close, and I haven't thought about the elbows and the scapula. So,
well, of course, I only do 3 repetitions in class.
Yeah.
You can do more at home.
Okay.
and actually, the ideal is to do 8.
Okay.
But
I've been doing 3 because that's what we've done.
That's what we do. And I only do the 3 in class for time's sake, so that we don't take forever to do it. But you may find that having a few more repetitions, whether it's 6 or 8 or whatever, may give you time to make those connections or feel those connections. So, a thought.
Thank you.
But it's improving, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So, going into our form, and we've gone up through the follow and focus after white goose. Are there any particular places where you are not sure or have questions?
No, I'm sure you'll see something pointed out, and then I'll discover that I should have had a question.
Not necessarily. Do you want to try it on your own, or is that all right for you?
Sure.
Okay. Good. That's actually that's coming along. You know, that's the best I've seen you do it. Let me put it down.
Yeah. There was a little hitch at shoulder strike, but yeah.
Yeah, you suddenly felt the need to really do it.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned, I'm not sure if I did, I may have mentioned, when you begin, let yourself make this step. And yes, that has, as you make the step, you are starting to rise, but your tendency is to be way up
Already,
at that point.
yeah, okay.
Because you want to use the rotation and shift to drive that up.
Okay.
And then the further rotation to do this. And notice that in all of those things, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. Do you see the difference?
Yes, I do. And I flip-flop on it because sometimes when let's say, I'm too mushy. And so I try to accentuate it a little bit, and that goes, with that movement also.
Yeah.
And I say, oh no, we don't want to be
right.
doing this, but we also don't want to be doing.
Yeah. So finding that middle ground,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's that connection to the scapula that is so important in those movements. Thinking through.
Okay, so
let's do it together.
Yeah.
if I'm in front of the camera at the moment. And I'm gonna mirror you. So we sink in. Oh no, I'm not. Forgot what I was doing. Sink into that, and then step to the corner, and then notice how my elbows drop to drive the fingertips up.
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, that's one of those things we were talking about before. I imagined that all of this was going on, and it's not.
No. No, if anything, you're you're spreading this guy's arms out so you can come up the middle, boom, and then boom. But it's not. We're not doing boom. We're doing this at the moment.
A question, actually, this one's occurred to me.
Yeah.
So, elbows drop. Am I already leaning too far?
You're leaning, yes.
Yes.
Which
Should I be?
so when you get to pung,
Yes.
you're not. It's like shoulder and white goose. You have that slight bit still further forward, and the completion of the rotation.
Okay.
So. Good. So you get to pung, comes in and out, in again, out. Good. Good. Side. Actually, single whip is looking pretty good. Actually, and you had the right idea here, and here I was that pull down and embrace looked pretty good to me. There was something else and I've lost it now. Oh, I guess maybe it was shoulder. Yeah, because when after you done that embrace, it's so easy to start to turn, and it's not. It's you've done this, and that's pushed you back, and now you rotate in, rotate to step, and then forward into shoulder.
Okay, so I am, what I was doing is this, and I should be doing this.
Well, it's, when we've gone back to here, first it's shift, which allows the arms to fold, then rotate in, protect the groin, rotate out to step in between your opponent's legs, and then into shoulder. Yeah. Nope, don't rotate when you shift back.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't remember that when you do shoulder, when you go forward into shoulder, you don't go all the way to your dynamic limit. You only go most of the way. So that you have a little bit of forward motion here.
Yeah. far. It's
And don't push the elbow out. It's hit with the body. So when you step, you've turned a little right, which allows you to rotate left as you go forward. And everything expands, but doesn't push. So expand out, and then continue. It ain't easy.
no.
Questions in that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. So, do you want to sit for a minute?
No.
No, you're all right? Let me switch places with you for a
Okay.
moment. So, having arrived at that follow and focus, just watch me for a moment. We're going to turn left and step back behind ourselves. And as we do that, the hands begin to separate. And then we rotate and shift, turning on the right heel, and the hands have separated. And then we rotate and turn to the other side. And this is down and under.
I better have that again. It looks familiar from when I did the form before, but all of a sudden.
This is, well, yeah. So, here, follow and focus, turn and step, rotate. Doing the wrong posture, never mind. So, focus, step back, the arms begin to separate, and they continue to separate here, and then they in and out as you rotate to the side.
So I get to here, and what is the motion?
So it's tricky. So as you step back and around, that begins to separate the arms. And notice that the left goes up, the right goes down, and they continue that to here. And then as you rotate to the side, they come back into the center and separate out again.
Okay, so they're there.
Yep.
Okay. It's a beautiful movement.
It's
Yeah, that.
yeah. It is a nice movement. And it's this is where there is a change. In other words, we did the same beginning we do in the long form. This is where we jump ahead in the form. And so that down and under is never done exactly like this in the long form, because it doesn't appear following White Goose in the form. So just since you've worked on the long form, in case you were wondering. So step, turn, rise, and
there's a foot there, the left foot. Does it reset?
it can reset if necessary. And I will say it's difficult to put it exactly where you want it to be, so you may have to reset it. So I'm going to do it sideways, which may be easier for you to follow over there. So if we're in White Goose to here, we step, turn, rotate, and rise. So it is a rising posture.
Okay.
This is not, we're not staying, it does not stay at base level all the time. So it is at base level all the way through to this point. But here you actually have the body going up slightly, but not too high.
The Marshall application.
Well, this is really a controlling posture that allows you to kick. It's kind of the obvious, because this is controlling the arms, obviously, and freeing so it's really turning to greet an opponent that's coming from another direction.
Okay.
Probably not this same guy that hopefully you destroyed over here. Oh, there's another guy coming here. I'm going to take care of him.
Okay.
We just don't do the kick.
Yep. Okay. I mean, I'm typically not too interested in the Marshall application, but it does help to understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You want to try that?
Sure.
So you're 100% on the right foot with the left toe touching.
Okay.
No, you have to turn and step. No, you have to step back with the left toe.
Oh, okay. Step. Okay.
So think of, okay, so the problem is that the step has to be back behind yourself.
Behind, okay.
So if you go here, there is no way you're going to get to this side.
Right. Okay.
So that's kind of the difficult thing here, is that the first thing that has to happen is step back here, because that allows you to go all the way.
Okay. So there's a rather complete pivot.
Yeah. This would be 180. We're starting over here, so it's more than an 180 turn. So you have to have that step in there. I'm gonna turn
does this?
Yeah, it's got to go all the way to at least the rear corner.
Okay.
Back there. Good. Good step. You want to face Master Joe over there.
Oh.
It's a long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're getting the first step really good. That to me, that's the hard part. So you get the step. now the thing is you've got to get yourself to turn all the way to here
Okay.
on that foot. And I'm too close together, so I'm definitely going to have to let that move out
Okay.
as I go. It's a toughie. So you want to
I
end,
stopped, yeah.
what? You stopped, yes. You want to end up 100% on that right foot so that you have your left foot free to kick with.
Okay. Balance. That I have lines here.
Getting there.
Yeah, that one I could sense that that's what it must be.
Yeah, that was good. If you can turn the right foot a little bit further,
The right foot, oh,
Yeah.
so that they're parallel.
almost, yeah. Yeah. So release on the toe. On the toe, left foot.
Okay.
It doesn't turn on the heel, it turns on the toe.
Oh, on the toe.
Because that's where you want to end up with.
Yeah. Okay, so you just lift.
Yep.
Okay. It's the coordination of the hands with the turn and what happens when.
So
When
you're right. I understand what you're saying. So maybe watch me for a second.
Yep.
So in the turn they separate. I mean, in the step they separate, and they continue to separate as you as you turn this foot over here.
Yeah.
And then it's as you go from left to right and up that they go in and out.
Okay, so that movement is really late in the sequence.
Yep. And it's as you're rotating and shifting from the left to the right and facing the side.
Okay.
Something to work on.
Is that far enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, turning on the toe allows you to move your weight onto the right foot.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Good. That's coming. Yeah, so let it, when you go onto the right, you have to let that left foot adjust if it needs to. Because then, as I said, making that first step perfect is very hard. Stay back. Stay back on the right foot, don't go forward. Yeah, good. Good.
Okay.
What?
Let's go on. No.
We can. Next is wave hands. You might look at least at part of wave hands. Maybe just the body movement. That alone. Or I should say the leg movement.
What are the names of what the movement that we just did?
Down and under.
Down and under.
So, yeah, right. So we actually, in the way, if this was the front, we would be here.
Yeah.
Or we would be here. I'm just going to get into it. Yeah, okay. So we're up and facing the side. And so the first thing we do is rotate and come back to our base level. And as we begin to turn left here, we step straight ahead and rotate and shift out, and then rotate and shift back. Turn this leg forward, turn on the right toe, drop the heel, turn on the heel, and rotate without shifting through a circle on the other side, and then you turn in and out. So the body is continuously, ideally rotating. This is probably the hardest footwork, I think, in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And finding the shifting of the weight in that so that you keep the movement going is it's subtle. So I don't know. Do you want to stand behind me maybe? And so if we're here, we're just going to hold our arms straight out. Don't try to wave them around. Just do this. So you're rotating, sink down a little, and then step empty, rotate and shift, and you're going back and forward. And as soon as you reach a point where there is a little more weight on the right than the left, you pick up that left toe and let it turn in. And then you pick up the right heel, turn on the toe till it's straight, drop the heel and rotate on the heel, going out and back in, and ideally without shifting onto the right foot. And now you're going to turn the toe in, come back onto it, and step out with the right. And you're rotating and shifting, turn the left toe straight, turn on the right toe, drop the heel, out, and back in, come on to the right and step, rotate and shift, turn back, turn on the toe, drop the heel, circle to the right, don't shift, just rotate, turn in, step, toe, heel, turn the toe, step. For the left side, you shift the weight. The right side, you do not.
Somehow I'm not getting rotated around right at that point as much as you are.
Depends how much you have to open and close at the qua.
Yeah.
But part of this is that when you come back that you turn this and you make sure that this foot at least goes straight.
Mm-hmm.
You could, if you need to, turn it a little further, the heel a little further in,
Mm-hmm.
which may allow you, because what's really interesting with this movement is that at this point you're closing your qua, and now you're opening your qua but not shifting. The left qua is opening to make that circle, but and then it starts closing again. So you have to use that left qua to make that circle. You do not want to use your knee.
Mm. Yeah.
Which I know you understand.
Yeah. And now it lets me know.
Well, yes. Is that the one you had done?
This one.
Right. Oh, okay.
But, you know, when I'm much more familiar with what not to do.
It's amazing what that does for us, doesn't it? Indeed. Indeed. Okay. So let's back up a little here, and we'll see whether Jeff can pick this up from this or not. So, got into here. We rotate and sink. Step empty. Rotate and shift, making that circle. Turn the left foot on the heel. Right foot on toe. Drop the heel. Keep turning out and back in. And turn the right toe. Has to turn past straight here, so that you can come onto it and step. Make the circle. Leg straight. Toe, heel. Keep rotating. And one of the things in just doing this as a preliminary exercise is making sure you keep the ball directly in front of your torso. Don't let yourself start waving it around. Toe, heel, open the qua, close the qua.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
You were right. So it's that right side that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about this. So, what I saw you do twice.
Okay.
Just to adjust so that you are aware of not doing this was you went here and you came back.
Okay.
I mean, it was boom, boom. It was not boom.
Okay.
So getting, that's
circularity.
that's the hard piece of this is getting this.
Okay.
How do you get that?
Okay.
And you really have to recognize that closing the qua is not tightening it, because then you can't get there.
Yeah.
You have to let the qua close, but close and open. Easy for me to say.
Well, I wasn't seeing the circle there at all until you pointed it out. So
Yeah.
obviously I couldn't do it if I didn't.
It's I struggled with it when we started this.
So it's essentially the same as this. Yeah.
Except that there's no weight shift.
Okay.
And that's also hard because it's so easy. You get to this point and you want to do this.
Okay.
And that's not it.
Okay. Do it
Because
true.
that's different.
Okay.
Do it again?
Yes.
Okay. So let me start here.
Yeah.
So this one, clearly you're shifting your weight.
Okay.
This one, I have stayed
Oh, okay.
100%.
Yeah.
On this foot. That's not, it's not easy, but it's a wonderful exercise for the qua.
I bet you have questions next week.
I'm sure you won't be the only one. That may be enough
Yeah.
to work on.
Yeah.
I'm
But
not-
it's a nice sequence. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the gentleman under and this, oh, this wave hands. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll worry about the arms.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. You make headway.
Hope so.
You are. You are. I hope I'm not seeming too critical. I'm really
No,
just trying.
not at all. I
Okay,
mean,
good.
whatever you have to offer, really. Yeah. I don't get defensive. Yeah.
No. I didn't feel that. I just it was a fault of mine in a way as a teacher when I was first teaching, was I had only corrections to give.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah. No, and as a long-time teacher myself, I recognize that there has to be balance. And,
Yeah. And as I in a recent lesson I was teaching in the meditation class, the base in, whereas in Buddhism all the talk is about love and compassion, in Taoism the basic rule is not quite principle, is loving balance, which includes forgiveness of yourself and others. And I like that.
Yeah.
So, have a good week.
Okay.
Oh no, a good 24 hours.
24, well, 48 hours.
Oh, you're right, 48. I've lost track of what day it is.
See you next week, Jeff.
We hope you feel better, Jeff.
Yes. Fast.
Yeah.